Hello everyone, welcome to another JavaScript practice challenge. Today, we will create a dice roller game using HTML, Tailwind CSS, and JavaScript. Let's roll through it. We will practice JavaScript. So, we won't talk much about HTML and CSS. Just go through the video for that part. Okay, here I already arranged some images for our dice and created an index file for HTML. Open it in your code editor. First, let's create our HTML structure and grab Tailwind CSS CDN for style. We'll start by writing the basic structure of our HTML document. Add the following code to your file. Here, we've set up the basic structure of our HTML document, including the game title, game board, dice image, score display, and buttons for rolling and resetting the dice. Now that our HTML structure is ready, let's talk about JavaScript part. Let's create a variable called score, and sets its initial value to 0. We'll use this to keep track of the player's total score as they play the game. Next part does a few things. First, we find an HTML element on the web page that has the ID roll button. A button that player can click to roll the dice. Then, we add a listener to this button. It waits for someone to click the button, and when they do, it runs the function inside the curly braces. Inside this function, create two more variables for two HTML elements, one for displaying the dice image, with ID dice, and one for showing the score, with ID score display. We store these in variables so we can easily change them later. Next, we will create a variable to generate a random number and store the number in that variable. Math.random gives a random number between 0 and 1. Multiplying by 6 gives a number between 0 and 5 point something, but not exactly 6 or 5. So, here we add math.floor rounds down to the nearest whole number, 0 to 5. Then we add 1, it gives us a final range of 1 to 6. Then we updates the dice image to show the correct dice face. Dice is a variable that holds a reference to the HTML element representing the dice image. This element was obtained earlier. .src is a property of the image element that specifies the URL of the image to be displayed. We use template literal, which allows embedding expressions inside a string. Constructs a string where roll is replaced by the value of the roll variable. If roll is 3, for example, the resulting string would be dice3.png. So, if the dice roll results in a number 4, the roll variable will be 4, and the code will set the src property of the dice element to dice4.png. This changes the image displayed to show the face of the dice. Then, we update the score variable by adding the value of the roll variable to it. So, if the current value of score is 10 and the value of roll is 4, this line will update score to 10 plus 4, 14. We then update the text of the score display element to show the new score. Text content. This is a property of the HTML element that sets the text content of the element. By setting this property, you can change the text displayed inside the element. Now, let's add a reset button. This is similar to the roll button. It finds a reset button HTML element and then add a click listener to it. First, after clicking the reset button, resets the score variable to 0. Then we will change the src attribute of the HTML element with the ID dice to dice1.png, which updates the image displayed. At last, we will update the score to display. Select the HTML element with the ID score display. Sets the text content of the selected element to score 0. It ensures that the score display is reset to show score 0 when the reset button is clicked. This kind of project may seem small, but it packs serious skill-building value like DOM manipulation or random number logic. Want to level up from here? Try adding sound effects, animations, or even multiplayer mode. Your imagination is literally the limit. If you learned something new or just vibed with the build, hit that like button, subscribe for more fun dev drops, and leave a comment with what you want to build next. Until then, stay creative.